Today on Investigate TV Plus, a man's favorite foods are off the menu after he developed a dangerous allergy to red meat.
If you're not careful, it can kill you.
The common critter responsible, and an in-depth look at the effort to educate Americans.
Plus, how a scam popping up across the country uses social media to turn the promise of an affordable home into financial frustration.
I want no one else to experience what I already experienced.
Then this woman is warming the hearts of others in honor of her mother.
Selfless love is all I can describe her as.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
A tiny insect that can cause a potentially deadly allergic reaction appears to be on the move in the United States. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. We're talking about the Lone Star tick. A 2014 study revealed the tick, usually found in the southeastern, south central, and mid-Atlantic states, had moved as far west as Nebraska and as far north as Maine. The CDC told us that the study was the first update on the Lone Star tick since the 1940s. And in 2019, the agency classified the tick as an established population for the first time.
Here's why concern about the spread matters. The Lone Star tick carries an allergy that makes some people dangerously allergic to red meat.
Reporter Meredith Anderson breaks down everything you need to know about alpha-gal and introduces us to a man experiencing the allergy firsthand.
If you're not careful, it can kill you.
It is alpha-gal syndrome. It's caused by a tick bite, and it's made Taylor Hartley dangerously allergic to red meat. He was diagnosed right before Thanksgiving, but there's no telling when or where he was bitten. That's because Taylor doesn't just play outside. As a farm appraiser, a lot of times his office is outside too.
Whether I got this tick at work or whether I got it going in a deer stand, it is what it is, it's life.
And Taylor's lucky. He caught this pretty early. Like a lot of patients, he doesn't remember the tick bite. Even if he did, the allergy typically doesn't show up until 6 to 8 weeks later. And when the symptoms start, they're not like a normal food allergy, where they're almost instant.
The problem with alpha-gal is it's delayed by so much time, like 4 to 5 hours, that they don't make the association.
Dr. Donnie Dunnigan is Taylor's allergist.
Do you have?
Hundreds with alpha-gal.
Hundreds.
Yes.
Still, the Georgia Department of Public Health only lists alpha-gal syndrome under emerging tick-borne diseases, where cases are rarely reported in Georgia. So if Dr. Dunnigan sees hundreds of patients with it at his Augusta practice, we wanted to know, is this outdated? No. That's because it's not a notifiable condition at either the federal or state level. At least not yet.
How did alpha-gal get on your radar?
So this is an issue that's been brought to me by constituents.
Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger represents Virginia's 7th District. Virginia became the second state behind Arkansas to require mandatory reporting of alpha-gal cases. Representative Spanberger has introduced a similar bill called the Recognize AGS Act in the U.S. House.
And this is how Lyme disease is tracked and reported. It is a nationally notifiable disease, which means if someone is diagnosed with Lyme disease, through our public health measures, state by state, there's notification that there's been a diagnosis, that there is, potentially an area where a tick-borne illness is more prevalent.
The CDC surveyed 1,500 doctors. 42% said they had never heard of alpha-gal syndrome. Of those who had, 35% said they were not confident in their ability to detect or treat the illness. And then there's this. Right now, experts almost fully put the blame on the Lone Star tick, the most common tick in both Georgia and South Carolina. They're found in Texas too, but the name comes from this single white dot on the female's back. Males don't have a star, but both carry the disease. Dr. Dunnigan fully believes that with more research, we'll find more carriers.
We now know that chiggers, which are very common around here, probably carry the alpha-gal protein or the alpha-gal allergy, and then there's probably other ticks that cause it too. because there's countries that don't have the Lone Star tick and they have alpha-gal.
Dr. Dunnigan also believes it's important to look at symptoms. They aren't exactly unique to alpha-gal syndrome. Things like nausea, heartburn, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, and a drop in blood pressure, dizziness, all those could be linked to, well, just about anything. And not all patients have all of these. Some only break out in hives or an itchy rash 2 to 6 hours after eating meat. Others only have stomach issues, which Dr. Dunnigan believes has led to countless patients getting an incorrect diagnosis, like irritable bowel syndrome, for example.
And if you think about it, a lot of the symptoms are the same, especially if they're not having the itching or the hives. So it's probably more prevalent than what we're aware of.
Dr. Dunnigan says it's not as simple as just avoiding steak or hamburgers. The allergy isn't to beef in particular, it's to all mammals. So Taylor, an avid hunter, can't eat deer meat, or pork, or bison, or lamb. He also has to avoid dairy, some medication, marshmallows, and gelatin. He really misses gummy bears. But for the most part, Taylor can control all of that. It's accidental cross-contamination that has him worried.
What if you go out and you order a chicken breast and that night you end up in the emergency room? Well, it was cooked with some kind of red meat and you didn't know it.
But Taylor says he is still living his life outdoors. He's still hunting and fishing and working, but he's being more careful. And he's making sure everyone he knows is more careful too.
I'm telling y'all, you need to spray yourself for ticks.
And since early detection is key, he hopes by speaking out, he can help those struggling with alpha-gal who might not know they have it yet. He also wants to make sure no one lives in fear.
Life's short and you don't ever know it when it can come to an end. So, you know, I'm going to go out to eat and I'm going to eat and I'm going to enjoy myself and spend time with family and friends, and I'm going to go in the outdoors.
There's no treatment or cure for alpha-gal, but symptoms can lessen over time. If they manage to stay away from tick bites, some people may be able to eat red meat in 1 to 2 years. It's important to note reactions tend to happen more often at night because most people eat their main proteins for dinner. Can you believe that something so small can cause so much damage?
He said, lather up with
Yeah.
everything to repel those ticks and bugs and everything. That's scary.
And get yourself checked for ticks. If you've been
You're
out in the
right.
woods, look in your hair, all around.
That's good advice too.
Yeah.
All right, the CDC tracks where Lone Star ticks are found and reported down to the county level. To find a link, head to InvestigateTV.com and search Lone Star Tick.
Still ahead, a new device could help millions of Americans who suffer from a dangerous heart disease. We meet some of the first patients to undergo the procedure.
To me, it was a no-brainer to try it.
But first, a woman looking for a new 9-to-5 gets caught in a 6-figure job scam. The red flags you should know before you go looking for your next gig.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime, streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download.
Shelter is a basic need, but roughly half of Americans are struggling to afford a place to live.
A 2024 study reveals the U.S. faces a shortage of 7.3 million affordable housing units. That means for every 100 families at or below the poverty line, only 34 homes are available.
Math that doesn't add up for teachers Marisol Garcia and Lisa Smith, who know firsthand the struggle to make ends meet.
It is very common for most educators to have second and third jobs.
It's sad because we take care of our district's children, and if they're like me, we put our heart and soul into it, and we can't even have an affordable place to live. That's a problem.
For families who qualify for public housing, including the federally funded Section 8 housing, the wait for an open home can go on and on.
According to a 2021 report, some families across the country have to wait more than 2 years for a home. and in some cities, the wait is up to 5 years.
So when a Connecticut woman saw available Section 8 housing, she jumped at the opportunity, only to find out she had been tricked.
Reporter Cassidy Williams explains how fraudsters are targeting those already struggling to make ends meet.
Section 8 is a federal program that helps people like Jasmine Evans pay for housing.
I said, no, this doesn't sound right.
Evans lost $1,550 to a scammer who posted a home he didn't actually own on a Section 8 apartment list.
I want no one else to experience what I already experienced.
Now we've learned scammers have found a new way to target people like Evans. Someone created this Facebook page called Connecticut Housing Development Authority. It posted this flyer providing a link to sign up for a Section 8 waiting list.
When the announcement comes that a housing authority might be opening up their waiting list, that's pretty rare. So people jump at the chance to come in and put their name in.
But the sign-up wasn't real. There is no such thing as the Connecticut Housing Development Authority. The real Facebook page and the real office is the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. They got the fake Facebook page taken down in around 48 hours, but sensitive, personal information had already been lost.
So one of the people that came in did say that they had left their social security number and their identification, their personal identification information on that website.
Why do you think scammers are honing in on Section 8 vouchers?
Yeah, I think it really does shine a light on how desperate times are for folks. Connecticut, like a number of states across the country, we're dealing with our own affordable housing crisis.
And this same Facebook scam has happened in other states too.
It's over 20. Yeah, I think, and it's every few days you'll hear a new one pop up to say, oh, Ohio got hit or Pennsylvania got hit.
Marcus Smith is the CHFA's Director of Research, Marketing, and Outreach. He says they are already investigating another possible scam website, and all the states are now working together to get the word out.
A lot of these scammers are just one step ahead, and so as much as we can, trying to become aware of the problems before they become widespread.
We found similar scams just like this one all over the country, in Ohio, Texas, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. We did reach out to Meta for a statement on all these fraudulent posts. We have yet to hear back.
Scammers aren't just targeting people looking for a home, they're going after people's very livelihoods with job scams.
A Phoenix, Arizona woman experienced this firsthand when she received what she thought was a text from a letterboxed recruiter, a New Zealand-based company where people rate and review films.
And the text message said, basically, are you looking for a job? We can give you this, this, and this per month.
The so-called recruiter claimed Rachel could make up to $9,000 a month by simply watching movie trailers. The only requirement, a $100 deposit using cryptocurrency.
She says her job seemed legit because at first she actually deposited her commission into her personal bank account.
I took that money and put it into my bank account. Like I converted it back to cash and put it in my bank account.
After depositing $3,000, Rachel was told there was a glitch that prevented her from cashing out her commission.
But to watch more trailers, Rachel had to front more money. By the time she realized it was all a hoax, she had sent more than $110,000.
I believe that I just need to finish the set of 40 and I'd get all my money back, all my deposits back, plus all the commissions, and it would be like a huge payday for me. I want to let people know, really, that this is out there and, to be aware of it. Especially, there's so many people looking for a job, and they're very vulnerable, as I was. I was very vulnerable.
Before you accept your next job offer, you should know a legitimate employer will never ask for a payment for a job.
Some other red flags: asking for cryptocurrency and only communicating over text.
We reached out to Letterboxd to see if they were aware of this scam, and we've yet to hear back.
Both of these scams were imposter scams where the fraudster pretends to be someone they're not. During the first 6 months of 2024, the FTC took in more than 350,000 imposter fraud reports, costing Americans more than $1.3 billion. If you think you've been a victim of any sort of scam, you can report it. So reportfraud.ftc.gov. Still ahead, after a life-shattering diagnosis, her birthday will never be the same.
I wasn't looking forward to today, so I found a way to
give me something to look forward to.
How she marks the day with purpose to tend to her pain.
Plus, a new device allows patients with a dangerous type of heart disease to avoid a risky surgery. How it's already giving some people hope for their future.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms.
Fatigue, dizziness, and fainting, all symptoms of a type of heart disease that can be hard to pinpoint. Heart valve disease affects more than 11 million Americans and happens when the valves of the heart don't open or close properly.
For patients who need treatment beyond medication, the only option was open heart surgery. Until now.
In 2024, the FDA approved a new device to address one of the most dangerous heart valve surgeries.
Reporter Anna Katayama introduces us to the woman who received the first ever tricuspid clip in the state of Oregon.
Very tired, having a lot of difficulty performing simple things around the house.
Pat Michaud had a type of heart valve disease that sapped her strength. Walking and doing everyday tasks were a challenge. She became the first Oregonian to receive an FDA-approved tricuspid clip, and it has changed her life.
Well, I'm very grateful to my cardiologist and surgeon, both of them, for making it possible.
The tricuspid valve in the heart keeps blood in the body flowing in the right direction. A faulty valve will allow blood to flow in the wrong direction. Doctors call that tricuspid valve regurgitation.
If that happens, people get swollen legs and they get congestion and fatigue and shortness of breath, and they start to have problems with their liver and their kidneys.
Historically, the condition has been difficult to treat. Surgery on the tricuspid valve is high risk, so many patients just suffered with the disease in silence.
Despite the fact that there are approximately 1.6 million people in the United States with severe tricuspid valve disease, there's less than 1,500 tricuspid valve surgeries that happen each year. So we were really in search of a way to help these people.
I wasn't able to do much of anything. I was sitting, and if I were to go shopping, I'd have to hang on to the cart, and then I'd go to the car. I didn't have any stamina.
Pat's friend Shanette suffers from the same disease and was part of Providence's clinical trial, which helped lead to FDA approval for the tricuspid clip.
I was a little concerned, but knowing that there was nothing they could do at all for me, except maybe be in this trial and get the clips, then to me it was a no-brainer to try it.
Inserting this device does not require open heart surgery and is minimally invasive.
We were excited to learn that the clip procedure was found to be very safe, so there was a less than 2% chance of any serious complications.
Pat says she was initially hesitant to get the procedure, but recovery has been easy, and both women have found an improved quality of life.
I'm very thankful. I don't think I'd be able to do as much as I do now if I hadn't had it done.
Absolutely. Go for it.
The most common causes of tricuspid regurgitation are heart conditions such as heart failure, pulmonary hypertension, and cardiomyopathy. While it's not always possible to prevent, you can take steps to lower your risk, like healthy eating, exercise, and an annual checkup with your doctor.
Still ahead, a mission for Mom.
I know that her mom will be extremely proud of all the work she's done.
The heartfelt inspiration behind her efforts to help others in her community.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes. Giving gifts can often feel better than receiving them.
A woman in Virginia found giving gifts on her birthday was a way to cope after her mother's death.
Reporter Ashley Hendricks shows us how she's warming people's hearts while healing her own.
Around 130 in total, so I'll be bringing more.
The start of the new year was everything but a celebration for Shannon Walton.
It's just been really hard not having her here the past
couple months.
On New Year's Eve, her mom Lori died of kidney cancer, and the pain of losing her better half lays fresh on her heart.
My mom was my best friend.
Shannon is an only child, and Lori was a stay-at-home mom, making them two peas in a pod.
She was very kind, very humble. Selfless love is all I can describe her as.
May 7th was the day she found out her mom had cancer.
She actually was diagnosed on my birthday, so 4 years ago today, in 2020. So my birthday's never been quite the same since then.
But this year was different.
She came into work one day and actually told our office that she had been up all night, and she said, God laid something on my heart, and I think it's something that I need to do.
Shannon was determined to collect blankets to donate to VCU's palliative care unit. It's where her mom spent her final weeks. When Shannon came to visit around Christmas one day, she noticed her mom wrapped up in a colorful, warm blanket given to her by a stranger.
It was just something bright and cheerful that was in the room, and for some reason it just touched me. It brought a little bit of happiness.
That one random act of kindness now giving new meaning to Shannon's birthday.
I wasn't looking forward to today, so I found a way to give me something to look forward to.
But she needed a bit of help, so she took to social media, posting this flyer about her story and her mission. And thanks to help from others, her birthday wish came true, collecting more than 130 blankets.
I know that her mom would be extremely proud of all the work she's done.
And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, a selfless act met with surprising challenges.
If you're doing something that is so noble to extend and save someone else's life, you should not be in the position where you have to make a sacrifice for yourself.
We take an in-depth look at the barriers to living organ donation and what changes could make a life-saving difference.